Welcome to Living Life, the show that allows you to pursue things that make you happy, curious, and keep you open-minded. This is Living Life on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network.
Good day. Today we're back here at University Park and we'll be walking through this beautiful home to do what is known as a walkthrough. That means that we're going to inspect the house before we close on it and see what minor things are wrong so that they can fix them before we close. So today, this tip of the week by Home Design Concepts is brought to you by Knack, our sponsor. Remember, they're more than just a bag. And here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network is our tip of the month. So let's tour this home and look at what to look for. I'm going to start right out here outside as we write down all these things that need to be repaired before we close. And the first thing that we notice is that there is some inconsistency on the concrete. So we're going to want to make sure that that gets taken care of. And we look at every detail, how the house is painted, if it's finished, any drip marks, inconsistency in painting. They have to have proper landscaping. As you can see, we're missing some landscaping. They have buckets out. And we're going to notice our very first thing here is that the lights really aren't centered. This light on the right is right against the shutter, whereas this left one is kind of centered. So they really need to have that moved over to the left, the right one. And as you can see here, there are some paint drippings on the concrete. So again, that has to be taken care of. They are working on the home, and this is a process. So we're not going to get stressed out about this. We're going to be calm and write down everything and just let them take care of it. So again, we look at every detail of the home, outside, inside. Again, we have a light fixture here. Why isn't that centered? Why is that all the way to the left? So these are questions I have to ask and see what the answers are. I did notice that they had a couple of patch holes here, and I'm not too thrilled with the way they're patched. So we're going to add everything to our list and let them go over them and fix them. You'll notice that the outdoor electrical has a proper cover, weather cover they're called, to protect it from water. So these are all important features to look for to make sure they're done and make sure that all of the paint looks consistent as we look over the entire home. So it takes a long time. Don't be in a rush. This is where you write down everything that needs to be written down so that they can fix it. Because once you're in your home, if you haven't pointed out details, they can say, this is your problem. So give me a minute and I'll be right back.
Hi, Howie Morgeson here from Living Life, Sweets, Treats, and Eats on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. As you can see, it's all about the food, and lots of it. On each podcast, we're going to make dishes that I have discovered and found out there, things that I've fixed for my family that they really enjoyed. It's all about the food and how to enjoy it. It's also simple dishes that you can put together on your own. We'll show you techniques on how to prepare the food. We'll show you how to serve it and display it. So it's all about the food, and we hope you can join us. So again, Sweets, Treats, and Eats on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. I hope you can join us.
Okay, you ready? We're going to walk through. It's important to look for all the things that you purchased as upgrades to make sure that they're installed correctly and that you actually did get them. That includes any kind of lighting, flooring, backsplashes, the countertops are correct, any faucets, Anything extra that you paid for, they need to be correctly installed and be in your home in order to close. So as we walk in the house, the main thing that we're looking at is the flooring. And I wanted the flooring to be put in a striate pattern, which means that the grout lines don't line up. As you can see, they don't. And then I also wanted the pattern to run this way. And the reason for that is in hallways, and this is considered a hallway, if the pattern runs across, it looks like a ladder. And I wanted the pattern to run so it elongates the room. So, and here's Jim Saya, my better half. And we have just actually done the walkthrough, but I'm going to do again to walk through with you. So you have to look at all the corners to look for everything. If paint has been completed properly, you have to look at every window to see if there are any scratches on them. All these have to be pointed out because within the 30 days, they actually give you a year, but within the 30 days, you have to report the things that are wrong and so that they can correct them. I'm just going to show you something here. If you look at the spacing on the door, you can tell at the top there's very little spacing, but as I get down to the lock area, the spacing is much wider. And then as you get down to the bottom, we're back to normal spacing. So I want them to correct that because one, that's an air gap. Two, your lock isn't as efficient because there's more space. So we'll go into the office area, first floor bedroom. Again, we check all the outlets to make sure that they're on and to make sure that they're painted around and centered correctly. You can see we put up blue tape. They actually use blue and green tape. Blue tape is to denote paint, and green tape is for outside or electrical when it's in the inside. So we open every single door, check every single knob. As I'm walking, I'm actually running my foot along the floor, the tile, to make sure that it's level. Your foot would actually catch if you have highs and lows. But as you can see, the pattern does continue, and I'm just going to back up. And that was one of the other things, how we decide where the pattern goes. So the pattern is going this way, as you can see. So when it continues into this room, it just lays out very nicely. And that's all important parts. Every window gets opened. One of the things to consider is that when there's a lot of dust, the windows don't work, or dirt, the windows don't work efficiently. But when there is no dust, they work very well and smoothly. And I check every lock to make sure that it works correctly. Flush every toilet, make sure that it goes off in a proper amount of time. Turn on every single faucet to make sure the water comes out consistently. And then switch it to the shower and make sure that works as well. Make sure that your stoppers are working, that it does hold the water into a certain level, that it's not leaking out. The same thing goes with your sinks. Turn on every water, hot and cold. And it's also important to check just the hot water, because with the hot water running, it should be on the left side. A lot of times they make a little mistake, and you could have hot by turning on the right side and cold when you turn on the left side. Left is on the left side, and left is on the left side. Hot is on the left side, and right is cold, and that's on the right side. Every bathroom should have a power surge plug that can be reset. So that's a surge protector, and that plug is near water, close to the sink. So it does have to have a power surge plug. Regular outlets can just be the regular outlets. Usually in a home, they will flip one of them upside down. And if you do see that upside down, they didn't do it in this home, but if you do see an outlet, one of the outlets in a bedroom specifically, or a living room, that's upside down, then it usually corresponds with the wall switch, so that when you enter the room, you can turn on a light. So basically you plug in a lamp into the outlet, put it on your end table or your nightstand, and when you enter the room, you can just hit the switch and you leave the lamp on. Now you can still turn your lamp off, but manually on the lamp itself, but it does give you access that when you enter the room to have light as you enter the room. Let's walk through here. Okay, back into the main area. I have checked out all the tile. I requested that we had a plug on the wall. It's actually a hole that we can feed the wires through, so that the wires will be hidden in the wall for the TV. And yes, that is there. We do have our outlet below and our cable box below that. So all the wires will go from the top area all the way down through and then plug in on the bottom, and that way you don't see wires hanging down behind your TV. Coming around to the kitchen area, we had paid for a backsplash, and I wanted to make sure that that got installed properly, and it is. They did have a little situation with not drilling holes so that they could put the outlet covers on. This one, they did drill the hole, so they are going to come back. And we just, as you find things that are wrong, you write them down, and then it goes on the list, and they have to clear that list in 30 days in order for it to be removed off the final. So I did go ahead and with the oven, I put on the broiler first and checked out the oven, that the broiler did come on, and this is a dual oven, so both the top and the bottom work correctly. And then after that, I put it on to bake 400, and I saw that it came on and it was at 175 degrees, which is the normal starting temperature. But then from there, I walked away and checked other water and features in the house, and I came back about 5-10 minutes later, and the oven did register that it was at 400 degrees. Now, sometimes you can have an internal thermometer to double check that temperature, but right now I'm trusting that Samsung has a good temperature gauge. I might check it later after I move in. But anywhere you see blue tape, it denotes that there's paint problems. Anywhere you see green tape is for electrical. And they just have minor things to do. We weren't able to check today on the garbage disposal or the dishwasher because they are having last-minute checkups on the electrical, so they had to shut off certain switches. But I did denote that I haven't checked that yet, and we want to before we close. Let's walk through. This is the powder bathroom downstairs. Again, the lights aren't working, but I already did test the water, the stopper, and the toilet bowl. Okay, let's go upstairs real quick. So is the correct carpeting. I always look at how it was installed. Was it installed going the same way? This one happens to have a little bit of a striate pattern, so it was important to check how it goes, and it is correctly. Also on the thermostats, the air conditioning was on, so we're able to really check that out and make sure it was on. But I changed the mode to heat, and it is quite hot today, so I put it up to 90, and we were able to see that the heat came on and worked. One of the homes we bought, they actually did not connect the wiring up in the attic for the heat, so the forced hot air never came on. A new thing they're doing in California, that within 6 months you can call the heating air conditioning company. They will come out within the first 6 months. Day 1 over 6 months, this does not apply, but within the first 6 months, they will replace every single filter and do a tune-up on the air conditioning and heating unit, which I'll show you outside. The beauty of that are filters work the best when they're changed about once a month. And in the beginning, there's a lot of dust floating around. So the cleaner the air vents are for filtering the air, the better the air conditioning and heating works. Okay, coming around here, I'll just go back a second, come all the way around. I look for inconsistencies in paint, and this little fly up here was telling me there was a little paint that we needed to look at. So we marked that, and they're gonna come back and touch up all of that as well. Okay, going into the master bedroom, this was really good. The windows were all crystal clear. There were no marks on them at all. Looking out your window at certain times of day can be really critical because you cannot see scratches at certain times of day. I'm just gonna see if I can hold this and pull up this window to show you something. So if I unlock here and I unlock here and I pull this up, I did notice that this particular, and it's hard to see, the inside lock was a little bent. So they're actually gonna replace it. It was missing a little clip in there. I know that's hard to see, but compared to this one, so they are going to replace it. I personally take every window and move it up and down. Once you own the house, it's your home, and then make sure that they are lockable as well. Okay, carpeting again installed well. Here we paid for tile to go into the bathroom, in the master bathroom, and to make sure that it was put in correctly, and it was. Again, I've been rubbing my foot along the side. Here's the shower that is done as well. And they did notice a little nick on the tub, so they're gonna see if they can do a little filler and have that come out. Again, testing the water for normal flow is really important, both hot and cold, and that there is good drainage, that the water is going down very easily. Okay, you can see a couple little tape marks here. I'm also showing you this as a before picture. Hi, there I am. A before picture of this home, because we are going to transform it. These mirrors are gonna come down, and we're gonna put in free hanging mirrors instead of the mirrors that are flat against the wall. And this also is gonna get a wallpaper. So I did want to show you part of what a before of this home would look like. And then it can be stressful, both moving in and doing your walkthrough. But everything was looking pretty good. A lot of minor stuff that is all fixable. There's something on the outside that I will show you as well. We'll just come over here. We have a guest bedroom here. And we did notice that, if you can see this out here, this metal roofing, this is supposed to be a dark color, not white. So they made a mistake, it was dark. We're also having them fix some minor broken tiles. These are the rounded clay tiles, and they also have to clean up the roof. But all the windows worked great in here. And if we go over here, we have the upstairs Jack and Jill bathroom with the double sinks. And this was all great too. They did a nice job. These are a standard. But again, you'll see the transformation that this is a basic bathroom. And when you see it done afterwards with the blue wallpaper that we're putting up, you will see quite a difference. But again, I checked out all the windows, all the screens. Downstairs, there were some minor paint on screens that they're either going to replace them or take them out. This is our basic laundry room. They do supply a pan now that goes under the washing machine. This is great because this is on the second level. I don't know how much water it'll really hold, but that's why the tile's here. And lastly is our third bedroom, which will have a queen size bed. Windows were working great. Everything looked good in here. Okay, I'm gonna pick you up downstairs so that I don't make you nauseous walking through this house. Okay, we're gonna go outside. Hey, what happened to all the plants? What happened to someone stole my plants? No. Here in California, they don't give you any plants in your backyard. So they give you the dirt, and they give you 6 months where you have to put in your own plants, which is all good because I want to do what I want to do. This is looking out the side of the yard. I look for all the key features. Here we have our nub for our gas so that we can hook up the barbecue. This is natural gas, so you do have to change the piping in the barbecue to house the natural gas as opposed to propane gas. I believe one is lighter than the other. I'm sorry that I don't know which one is which. Making sure all your vents are properly stowed on the wall. We did notice that we were missing the timer box for the sprinkler system. They only give you front plants, so that's why there's only 2 of these to control the water in the front of the house. But we are missing the timer box for the sprinkler system, so they do have to put that in. That was denoted as well. And we looked at all our switches. Here in California, we have solar heating, solar electricity. So we build a certain amount of solar electricity, and then if you go over, you pay for the extra. Usually with solar, our bills are somewhere between $13 to $37 a month. I've chosen to buy the solar panels because I own them and I don't have to pay a fee every month. So when I resell this house, which is something we are definitely considering, the new owners say, hey, I don't have to pay anybody because I own them already. And it was in the mortgage. I mean, it might have cost us another $20 a month to have that. Also, in a lot of these homes now are the instant hot water. It's no more tankless water heaters. So it does take about a minute for the water to heat up, but after that, the hot water is continuous, no matter which faucet you turn on. And that's a wonderful feature that I do like. I did walk around. Also here, they only supply stucco on the walls or the orange peel. They do not paint the garages. So while we're here, one of the issues I had with the driveway is that the concrete is different color. Now, I was told that it can take up to a month to 2 months for the driveway to completely dry. And you would think, oh, we're in 100-degree weather. You know, that driveway should be completely dry. Well, it does take a long time for concrete to cure. So they do give you a certain amount of landscaping in the front of the house. But that's it. Okay, let's walk around here real quick. And we'll come up here. I showed you this painting. I want to just show you here something that I noticed sticking out. Can you see that extra piece of flashing sticking out from the tile? That's a little extra abnormal. I know you would think you shouldn't have to look at all these things, but you do. You have to point out to the person you're doing your walkthrough every detail. Seeing that if it's painted underneath the grid. Let's walk around, I'll show you what I mean. Like here. Can you see how they missed the inconsistency of painting? This is all normal. It's nothing to go crazy about or be upset about. It's all part of the normal walkthrough. Okay. Let's go back into the garage. You have to look at all your walls. Make sure that they seem flat. I know you would say, hey, I built this house. Okay, I'm gonna come up to here. This is a low point drainage. Now, I was a little annoyed of where this was because it's gonna be right in the middle of my walkway. If you see that drainage compared to the gate entrance, these are movable. You can't move the actual sub drain where the water goes, but you can make a different low spot in the yard. So it is something that you may see that you say, hey, not happy, these are movable. The air conditioning units are in the back of the yards here, and here they are, both humming very quietly actually. And I just want to walk around here to show you another detail, because I do look at every single screen, and I want you to see how these screens are actually a little bit short. So we bring that to their attention, and they will, this happened to have a little paint on the screen, so he's like, good, you'll get new screens. So for some reason both of these screens were a little short, and that's what I mean by a little short, that you can see a space. Whereas if you look at the screen on this side, well, this one's got a little bit of space too, but they do normally fit much more snug. Like this is a more snug fit, and that one's a little loose too. Okay, well, they'll be changing all the screens. And we noticed here, and I'm going to open up this door, that there's a little bit of an issue with this sliding door. Jim, could you assist me and open up this door? Can you assist me and open up this door? Listen to when he pushes the door. There's something going on the way it's dragging. So that gets put on the list, and they will be taking care of that as well. So there's a lot that goes through a walkthrough of a home. Keep calm. Most companies are very reputable. They will stand behind their product. They will get it done. You just have to be patient and be diligent. Keep the list. They have 30 days. So now we'll go through a closing process on the 28th. And in the following month, I'm going to show you how to be less stressful on moving in to your home, showing you the boxes that they're pre-labeled so it's easier to place them in rooms, and then to unpack, and setting up a home, and how quick it can really go. I mean, you could have dinner on the table that night. So thank you again, our sponsor Knack, for bringing us more than just a knapsack. And Nick, our producer, I love him to death. And I'm Tony Montuori on Home Design Concepts on the Empty the Bench podcast network. So just to remind you, you can follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, and I believe there's also YouTube. And if you have any questions, you can contact me directly at interiorconcepts30@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to assist you. So stay calm. Remember, have your pad, your paper, and your tape, and every walkthrough can be less stressful. I hope you enjoyed this tip of the month, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Bye.